I always make the mistake of sometimes going to try amps when I don't actually have my current amp with me. And sometimes, when you're at a shop or whatever, the room can sound a particular way, or it can sound great, and you think, oh, this sounds so much better than what I've already got. But then when you take your own amp in and you put it side by side, you go, oh, okay, so what I got actually sounds great. So I think it's, Rick always said that to me. He goes, anytime you go to test an amp, always have your current one with you, because it really puts it into perspective. Don't ever buy an amp based on how it sounds in the shop without a reference point. So, I make sure I take my amp with me. I've made some huge mistakes buying amps without having my current amp with me. And when I got home and I put them side by side, the older amp that I had, or the current one that I had, was way better than the new one. So, I that's one thing that I can recommend to anyone who's interested in looking at getting a new amp. Always take in one that you've got, if you can, that is. So really helps determine what you're listening to, and sort of benchmarks it against what your ear's used to as well. Same goes for guitars too. If you're if you're in a shop and you're thinking of buying a second Strat or a Tele or a whatever, always have the one that you've got with you if you do have one already. That absolutely helps. Or play a couple of different ones in the shop at least, just to make sure. But I always think having a comparison on hand is really helpful, especially if you're going to be spending big bucks. I'll never buy another big amp, or expensive amp I should say, without having my Blues Deluxe with me. But I'm pretty much done for amps right now. I really don't feel like there's much out there that would sort of contribute to my sound or tone or anything. I'm wrapped with what I got, and
Shane.
Yep.
Are you sure?
Well, it's funny, man, because I've played a handful of boutique amps lately that were good, and a mate of mine's got this really nice Swart amp, which is great at what it does, but the Blues Deluxe pretty much covers anywhere that I play. Like, that can be used at festivals or at pub gigs, and it just sounds fantastic. And then, the Super Reverb's still the best amp I've ever heard in person. So I've had 2-rock amps, I've had bloody all kinds of different, probably 30 amps over the years, and I'm really, really happy with my combination of stuff. So I feel like the only stuff that I'd be looking for would be, guitars that I don't already have one of. So it'd be like, I don't want to duplicate guitars. Like, I wouldn't go buying a second Strat or a second Telecaster. I've already got a great Telecaster that I should be playing all the time. So that's, for me, that's the go-to guitar when I want that Tele sound. But if I was to buy another guitar now, it'd be something different, maybe like a Gretsch, something with different pickups. Or, well, if I bought another Tele, it would be something that would have different pickups in it entirely to what I've got. So I don't know, man. I'm kind of done with the amps right now. I'm really digging what I got. It's a good feeling. But
you found your sweet spot.
Yeah, we'll just hope it lasts, man, because it's an expensive habit. So
it is.
I don't know if you heard, but I got a PV Bandit recently.
Yes, I did. I talked about it with you on Facebook.
That's right.
A PV Bandit being sold here for 160 euros, more or less the same amount you spent.
Yeah. They're such a great.
It's the red stripe, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, there's another one on eBay at the moment that I bid on. But I've been outbid on that one. It looks brand new, and I run a jam night on a Sunday, and just to speed up the sets, I let people use the Bandit, and I thought maybe I could get like a second cheap one and just leave it there so everyone doesn't have to bring their amps up and stuff. But they're such a great amp, man. It's in terms of solid state amplifiers, I reckon the PV Bandit has to be arguably one of the best amps in over the years.
Yeah.
They're just unbelievable.
It is. But don't tell that to the tube snobs, okay?
No,
No, no.
And it's
Oh no, it doesn't have tubes. It sucks.
yeah, people are a little bit ignorant with stuff until they actually get to try it. Because my friend Rick's a huge gear snob, and I took it over to his place the other day, and we put it up against a valve amp and or a tube amp, and it was so indistinguishable in the room that if he wasn't looking at the amps, I don't know if he'd know which one was which. So we shot a blind test, which will go up in the next few days.
That should be interesting.
Yeah, that's always cool fun. So we're once that video gets to like 1,500 views or something, I'll tell everyone which was which. But the funny thing about the Bandit is they sound so great with pedals as well. Like, you know, the Klon doesn't really work well, or a Klon style pedal doesn't really work well with the Mustang. It just gets all weird. But the Bandits,
Because the Mustang is digital, man.
yeah,
The Klon is supposed to drive the tubes.
yeah,
There are no tubes on the Mustang, so it's not going to behave the same way.
yeah. But there's none on the Bandit either, and it sounds great.
They're different.
Yeah. That's exactly right. I think they're engineered to be, you know, a very gig or, you know, record friendly amp. You can just basically plug in what you're used to and get your sound. And we did a second blind test as well, where there's a control on the Bandit called a T Dynamics switch, which basically lowers the volume of the amplifier, but it also makes it sort of clip easy. And so I put that in quotations, but it sort of makes it sound like a valve amp on, you know, turned up where it's saturated. So we did a test with the Bandit with that particular switch on, and then we did a blind test with a $3,500 valve amplifier, and this will be the funniest blind test of all time because they're so similar.